Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of the beginner's yoga course. I hope that you found last week's session enjoyable and relaxing and not too distracting with the 2 parts. I'm hoping this week will be a lot smoother. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to ask you to lie down. So we're going to start by lying down, and you may want to have something comfortable like a cushion under your head, and grab a sheepskin if you have one, or you may even want to have a little cushion under the knees, and just really find yourself in a comfortable lying down position. So it might take you a few moments just to find something, just to find a position that's comfortable. So if there's any kind of tension in the lower back, popping a pillow under the lower back to support it will really help. And just make yourself as comfortable as possible. So feel free to pause me to go grab some cushions or a bolster or some blankets. And when you found everything that you need, lie on your back if that's comfortable. If it's not comfortable for whatever reason, you can lie on your side as well. And maybe pop a pillow in between the knees and under the belly just to make sure that you feel very supported so that you can really drop down into the body. And close down the eyes. And just allow yourself to arrive in this space today. So putting aside everything that has already happened, whether it's the morning time or the afternoon or the evening, just imagine yourself bundling everything up, wrapping it up, tying it up, and just pushing it to one side, to the other side of the room. And begin to bring that awareness very gently, very softly to your breath. So remembering what we spoke about last week, about just being an observer of how we are breathing in this moment right now. And just noticing without feeling the need to change anything or without feeling the need to judge yourself because you think you should be breathing a certain way. So following that inhale as it moves into the body, noticing where that inhale maybe travels to and stops. And then following that exhale as it leaves the body, and you may want to invite a very gentle sighing noise like we did last week. Just to help that process of dropping into the body and allowing the earth to fully support you. So sighs and yawns are all welcome. They're the body's way of releasing tension. And as you do this, you may begin to feel a sense of relief. So with each exhale, imagining the body just settling that little bit more on the earth, as if it was just getting that little bit heavier with each round of breath. Allowing the breath to be whatever it is. And don't worry if this feels a little bit tricky or challenging for you. If you're finding it hard to drop out of the mind and into the body, just give yourself plenty of time. Some days it's easier for us to connect to the breath and tend to drop in, and some days are just naturally more challenging depending on what we've got going on in our lives. So part of this practice of yoga is really to be able to meet ourselves and welcome ourselves in whatever way we are today in this moment. So there's no perfect way to be. When we start to embrace all of those different elements, all of those different sides of ourselves, we can really live with integrity and just stop all the shaming and judging that comes mostly from us. So allowing the awareness to be on the breath. And if you like, you can imagine the breath traveling in and out of the body, just like the wind travels across the land. So imagining the whole of your body as a landscape with its own hills and mountains and dips and valleys and rivers and oceans. And it's as if the breath itself is the wind that passes through all of these landscapes. So it's always present, it never goes away. And just like the seasons that we experience in nature, the breath can be compared to the seasons of spring and summer, which are welcomed on the inhale. And the seasons of autumn and winter on the exhale, so that sense of letting go and surrendering in those colder months where we naturally want to just draw in and be still. So welcoming in the season of spring at the beginning of the inhale, all the way to the top of the inhale where we welcome in the season of summer. And as we exhale, welcoming in the season of autumn, all the way to the end of the exhale where there's that slight pause, welcoming in the season of winter into the land of the body. So maybe just breathing with an awareness of these seasons, or if that's too much, just going back to that simple awareness of the inhale and the exhale. And really just taking this as an opportunity to check in with how you are today. Sometimes we're so busy rushing around, getting everything done, that we don't really take time to really check in with how we're feeling. So it might be that you're tired today and you need some rest. Or maybe you're full of energy. Or maybe it's a mixture of both. Maybe there's something lingering there. So really just take this as an opportunity just to check in and ask yourself, how am I today? Am I looking after me today? So letting the breath settle the mind and the body on the earth. And again, maybe beginning to notice that the breath is becoming that little bit more even. That inhale and the exhale maybe are more equal than before. And like we did last week, you can put one hand on the chest and one hand on the lower belly. And just feeling the breath passing past those 2 points. So that gentle lifting of the upper chest and maybe the belly. And then that gentle dropping down with the exhale. So very subtle movements. And again, noticing if there's a tendency in yourself to try to force this. And if there is, just coming back to the breath. So we're not trying to change anything, we're just observing. Allowing the awareness to drop down into that heart space where that top hand is resting. Visualizing the breath filling up the heart. And as you exhale, it's as if you could pour that energy and that unconditional love from the heart space all the way down the center of the body to the womb space or the lower belly where that second hand is resting. Filling up that space with the energy. And then as you inhale, that energy gets carried back up to the heart. So we begin to imagine this little river of energy flowing between the heart and the womb with each round of breath. And you can visualize this in any way that feels good to you. Some days I like to imagine a waterfall pouring from the heart all the way down to this deep pool that settles in the pelvic bowl. Other times it's a meandering river, just moving through the landscape of my body. Or simply just an awareness or a current of energy moving between both spaces. So just allowing your own natural rhythm of breath to guide the practice. Maybe inviting a few more sighing breaths if it feels like you might need to just drop down a little bit more. So welcoming that in. And when you're ready, allowing that top hand to slide down to the bottom hand and making that little symbol that we used last week, the Yoni Mudra, so the downward pointing triangle with the tips of the thumbs touching and the tips of the index fingers. And then bending the knees so that the soles of the feet are flat on the earth. So as you welcome in the next inhale, just allowing those hands just to lift a few inches away from the body and then to settle back on the belly with the exhale. So So it's a very small and gentle movement. You can have the eyes closed still. Fingers can be open. You can inhale and exhale through the nostrils, seeing if you can just lengthen the exhale a little bit more so it's slightly longer than the inhale, if that feels good. And the next time you exhale, just allowing the hands to settle back on the body. So we're going to bring in the legs into the next movement. So bringing the hands back into Yoni Mudra. As we inhale, we're going to allow that triangle to move up towards the sky and up over the head. So we're raising the arms up and over the head. And at the same time, we're going to allow the knees to drop out to the sides so that the soles of the feet can come together. And then bringing that all back in. So the hands can float back down to the belly and the knees come back upright on the exhale. So inhaling, opening the knees to the sides, raising the arms above the head, coming to rest wherever is comfortable. And exhaling, everything comes back in. So you can imagine yourself like a little seed opening up in the sunshine. Doesn't matter if the soles of the feet don't come into contact. I find it easier sometimes when my feet are slightly apart. So just doing whatever feels comfortable. And the next time you open up and out, just seeing if it feels comfortable to stay in this open position for 2 rounds of breath. So if the arms don't come to the floor, maybe popping a pillow under the arms. But if it's too much, if it feels like too much today, then just returning to that closed position. And if you are in the open position, really breathing into the lower belly, feeling the front of the heart and the front of the body opening up towards the sky. As you welcome in the next inhale, drawing everything back up and down. And welcoming the knees in towards the body. So giving the knees a little hug. Maybe placing one hand on each knee and drawing the knees in towards the center of the body. Just releasing that lower back. And then making some little circles. Whatever direction. Feeling that lovely massage in the lower back, the backs of the hips. When you're ready, just taking that circle in the other direction. And then coming back with the knees bent and the feet on the floor. So you can have the palms of the hands facing down. So you can feel that contact with the earth. So just taking a moment to connect through the soles of the feet and through the palms of the hands, and you can have the fingers spread a little so you can feel each fingertip connecting to the earth. The knees can be open, maybe hip distance apart. And as we welcome in the inhale, we're going to press into the feet, push into the legs, and gently lift the hips up towards the sky. Doesn't need to be high, just a few inches off the ground. And then as we exhale, we're going to roll the spine all the way down, from the highest point all the way down to the lower back and the tailbone. So we're coming into a very gentle bridge. So again, inhaling, pushing into the feet, lifting the hips, and then exhaling. So just let the momentum that comes from the inhale just to very naturally lift the body. And then tuning into that downward moving energy on the exhale. You can press into the hands very gently if that helps to give you that extra support. So at the end of the next exhale, coming to rest on the earth. So we're going to do the same movement again, but this time as we inhale, we're going to see how it feels to gently lift the arms all the way up towards the sky and then behind us, okay? So welcoming in the next inhale in your own time, inhaling as you push up, arms can gently float up, and then exhale, arms come back down, body makes contact with the earth. So keeping it lovely and fluid, you can have a slight bend in the wrists, as if you're painting the sky with your fingertips. And the option on the next inhale as you lift up, you're in that upright position, is to exhale here without coming back down. Take another inhale. And exhale, allowing everything to come back down to the earth. Welcoming the knees back in. If you can, interlocking the fingers and the hands around the knees, gently lifting the head and the neck, forehead coming towards the knees, and then just dropping down and welcoming in those lovely little circles again. changing the direction. Coming back to the center and dropping the knees to the left so they come to rest on the floor. So if you need to shift the hips a little bit, that's fine. Or if they don't come to the floor, popping a little cushion or a bolster under the knees, okay? You want to make sure you're able to fully drop into those legs. So we're going to come into a very lovely spinal twist. So the left hand can be resting on the top of the right thigh, okay? And this might be enough for you today, but if you want to slightly deepen the twist, you can move that right arm and right hand out to the right hand side. And again, this might be enough, or if it feels comfortable, you can take the gaze over towards the right shoulder. So just turning the head to the right, and the eyes can be closed. So you should feel a lovely twist here, opening that right side of the body, but also moving into the armpit and the shoulder. And again, just noticing if that's very intense for you, or if the right shoulder doesn't want to drop down to the side, that's fine. But if it's painful, then not enduring that, okay? You can bring that right hand to rest on the right waist, or alternate opening the hand out to the side and bringing it in. Really allowing the breath to fill the body on an inhale. And settle on an exhale. Noticing if there's a tendency to tense the jaw. So if there is, allowing a little gap between the upper jaws and the lower jaws. Relaxing the center of the forehead. And as you welcome in the next inhale, allowing the knees to come back up to the center. And then dropping the legs to the opposite side. So it might feel a little different on this side. One side is generally a little bit tighter than the other. So again, experimenting with what feels good. That right hand can kind of hook in behind the thigh, giving you a little bit of support and leverage. Left hand, left arm extends out to the left. And then if it's comfortable, taking that gaze over towards the left shoulder. So the breath is naturally going to feel a little bit different in this position because we're constricting the abdomen. And twists are particularly beneficial for those of us that have any digestive problems or in need of a little bit of detoxification. Taking one more breath here. And on the next inhale, bringing the knees back up. And placing the feet on the floor. And we're going to roll over onto our right hand side with that bottom right arm extended underneath us. The knees are bent. And then the left hand and the left arm can just come to rest just below the right wrist. And again, if you need to pop something under your head, then please do. So this time as we inhale, we're going to allow that top hand to float all the way up to the sky and open out behind us. The gaze is going to stay forward and the hand can open up just as far as it can. It doesn't need to touch the floor. And then as we exhale, bringing that hand back down. So just experimenting what that range of motion feels like for you. You can imagine as you do this that you are opening the doors to your heart. So as we inhale, we're reaching up, but we're really shining that heart space and opening it up. So this is a beautiful practice to do if you're feeling a little bit grief-stricken, and sad or angry. You're finding it hard to connect to that part of yourself that is compassionate and kind to yourself as much as anyone else. So if the arm only wants to come up to here, that's fine. It's not so much about the range of motion, but rather the energetics of this. Opening up one last time. And then exhaling, allowing that arm to float back down. And just pause here. Closing down the eyes. Checking in with the breath. Checking in with how you're feeling. It's so important to do this regularly, even during a yoga practice, because things are always shifting and moving. The energy is always flowing. And when we move in a conscious way, we're directing energy into areas that might be blocked, so things might be coming up. When you're ready, just making your way to seated, whatever way you can. Taking your time. And again, maybe popping something soft under the sit bones. When you're back in your upright position, we're going to come into a pose that's called mermaid pose. So you can bend the left leg behind you. So I'm going to demonstrate. So take that left foot behind you. So it comes out behind you. It doesn't have to be directly. You can have a little bit of an angle to it. Imagining this is a tail almost. And then that right foot, right heel, is going to come to the front of the left knee, the inside of the front of the left knee. Now, this can be quite a tricky one because we can sometimes feel a little bit unbalanced here. So if that's the case, you can pop a pillow under the knee or under the bum. Okay, so just find your balance here and doing whatever you need to do in order to feel like there's not too much pressure on that left hip either. Okay, so this is imagining yourself as a mermaid. This is your tail, that left leg extending out behind you, and you're perched on a rock in the middle of the sea. This is a very subtle posture. We're going to move with the breath in this, but it's particularly useful for those who might have any kind of hip pain, and it is particularly nourishing for all of the pelvic organs and the pelvic floor. It helps to tighten everything up in a very gentle and non-forceful way. So when you're ready, you can have the hands resting on the knees like this. And as we inhale, we're going to very, very gently push into the knees very slightly and kind of rock the body forward so that the heart extends. So it's a very subtle movement. I'm going to show you from the side. And it might not feel like very much is happening, but it is. So inhale. You can take the gaze up. And then exhale, just rounding the back ever so slightly. So it feels as if the movement is really coming from the pelvis. Following your breath. And if at any point it feels uncomfortable or painful, just stopping. So it's not about pushing through anything. It's about honouring how it feels in your body. And if it doesn't feel good, then that is okay. So doing this one more time. And then just coming back to neutral like this. And this time we're going to take the left hand and we're going to twist a little bit so that that left hand is coming to the inside of the right knee. Okay, so you're changing your seating a little bit. And again, you might need to prop yourself up. I feel like I need a pillow underneath my right hip so that I'm not feeling any strain. And then that left hand is going to come to the heart. And you can have it gently cupped like this. And we're going to inhale, gently push into that left hand as the spine lengthens. And as we exhale, it's as if we're offering something from the heart out into the space. And we're just going to very gently twist to wherever is comfortable. And then inhale. Bring that hand back to the heart. So you can push into that back leg a little bit to give you a bit of a lift. And then exhaling. If you like, you can bring the index fingers and the thumbs together on that right hand into Chin Mudra, which is the gesture associated with consciousness. And you can follow the hand with your gaze. So we're containing that energy. And don't worry about twisting deeply or anything like that. Just going as far as is comfortable. One last time. Coming back into the center. We're going to do the same movement on the other side. So we're going to start with that first pose. Bending that right leg behind us. Left heel comes to the inside of the right thigh and the knee. Propping yourself up. Just taking a few moments to feel how that is. Hands can come and rest on the knees or the thighs, wherever they kind of get to. Find the breath. And then as you inhale, that very subtle lifting of the heart. And the gaze. And then exhale. Moving into the lower back. Drawing in a little. So it's not as expansive as the movements we did last week. So think think of the movement coming from the pelvis and the pelvic bowl. So it's recommended to do this movement as many times as it takes to feel like there's no resistance or tension in the body. But that's very different for everyone. So for the sake of the class, I'm going to do this 9 times. So inhaling for the final one, and then exhaling. Allowing that inhale to bring you back to the center. And then taking that very gentle turn towards the left knee. That right hand can come to rest on the knee or the thigh. And again, prop yourself up wherever is needed. Bringing that left hand to the heart, and you can bring the index finger and the thumbs together in front of the heart space. And as you inhale, just lengthening the spine so the top of the head feels like it's growing up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, twisting to the left, feeling as if you're offering something from the heart space into the space around you. Inhale, the hand comes back to the heart, gaze can be on the palm of the hand. Exhale, moving into the twist. Inhaling as you come back to the heart one more time. Exhaling into the twist. And then inhaling, bringing it all back to the center, releasing the hands. And coming to sit in a wide-legged position, okay? So you can have the feet spread out. It doesn't matter how wide, okay? Noticing if there's a tendency for us to overextend here. And I like to have a little cushion under my hips so that I don't collapse into the lower back. And just take a moment and place all of the fingertips on the earth. And close down the eyes. Gently push into the heels so the feet are a little bit activated. And as you inhale, visualizing the crown of the head, the top of the head, gently moving up towards the sky as if there was a little bit of string attached and somebody was gently pulling it up. So it feels as if the spine is lengthening that little bit more. And then as you exhale, visualizing the breath traveling all the way down from the crown of the head, through the body, all the way down to those fingertips and the sit bones. So anchoring you on the earth. So going back to that feeling of expansion and surrender that comes when we are consciously aware of the inhale and exhale. opening the eyes, and I want you to check which nostril is more open. So throughout the day, the nostrils change in terms of which one is more dominant. And so you might find that your left nostril is more dominant or your right nostril. So just maybe closing one, breathing through. Maybe they both feel very open, which seems to be the case for me. I think my right one is slightly more open. So depending on which side, we're going to interlock our hands, and my right nostril is more open, so my right thumb is going to come to the top of the interlock, okay? And I'm going to move towards my right, you'll see in a moment. If it's your left, then obviously the left one is, which can feel a bit funny, but just honouring whichever nostril is more open today. So we're going to inhale deeply, visualising the crown of the head moving up towards the sky, and then as we exhale, we're going to bring the hands out towards the right, over towards the right foot. You don't have to reach the right foot or anything. And imagining you have a big pot in front of you, and you are stirring it. So seeing if we can have that first half of the circle as an inhale, and then the second half as an exhale. So again, you can either have the eyes closed, or you can follow the hands with the gaze. And it doesn't matter how far forward you're going, it's not the point of this. We're just awakening the energy that is in our pelvis, giving the abdominal organs and the reproductive organs a lovely little massage. So going in the direction of the dominant nostril. One more time in that direction. Coming back to the center, and then whichever direction you went in, we're going to go in the opposite. So changing the lock on your hands. Taking a minute just to ground through the sit bones, lengthen the spine. Inhaling. And then as you exhale, moving over towards the opposite side. Taking it nice and slow, so that one whole circle is a whole round of breath. And don't worry too much about which round, which half is the inhale or the exhale. Pushing into those heels ever so slightly so the feet are awake. Allowing the breath to guide the movement. So taking that circle one more time. Coming back to the center, placing the hands underneath the knees and gently drawing the knees and the legs in, bringing the knees together and allowing the forehead just to drop down towards the knees. They don't have to touch. Just give yourself a little body hug. Breathing into the back of the spine, back of the neck, the lower back. then allowing the head to come up and bringing the soles of the feet back together. So we did this last week. So you can have the heels or the soles of the feet gently pressing into each other, coming into an open-legged position. If this is uncomfortable, you can prop the knees up, but please don't feel like you have to hold the position. I find it sometimes easier if I walk my feet out a bit, so there's less pressure on the hip joints, okay? Whenever you find that comfortable position, just taking the gaze down to the feet. So whenever we gaze at our hands or our feet or parts of our bodies, what we're really doing is we're honoring, I guess, those parts with our awareness. So even those parts of our bodies that maybe we don't feel so great about. And maybe just taking a few moments and just gently stroking the feet all the way from the top to the bottom. And just giving your feet a moment of appreciation for all that they do. These wonderful feet. That carry us around, that allow us to move, take us to wonderful places. So just maybe see if you can invite a feeling of wonder and awe for your beautiful feet, no matter what they're looking like right now. You can turn this into your very own little ritual. You might find that as you do this, you naturally want to press harder or massage certain parts. So just following those impulses. And then when you're ready, just coming back, gently pressing the soles of the feet together and bringing the hands either to the ankles or the knees or the calves, wherever's going to be comfortable. And as we inhale, we're going to push into the soles and the balls of the feet and gently open the toes out to the sides, like a little flower opening its petals in the sunshine. And then as you exhale, just gently drawing the toes back together. So I sometimes have a tendency to clamp my jaw shut when I do this, unless I'm talking. Especially when I look at my toes, so just noticing if that's happening. And one way to counteract this is just to keep the breath moving in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, follow that movement with your eyes. So as we open the toes, what we're really doing is we're inviting that energy in through the feet, into the body. And then as we close the toes, we're containing the energy, so it has to go in, it's not going to escape. So we refer this as containing prana. So let's do this one more time. If you're getting crampy, then maybe skip the last one. So as we inhale, we're going to lengthen the crown up towards the sky, and we're going to reach the heart forward, and we're going to circle over to the right, dropping into the lower back as we come around to the left. So we're kind of rocking on the sit bones, and then forward. So we're making these lovely little circles. Now, if you want, as you inhale, you can push into the soles of the feet, open those beautiful toes, and then exhaling, drawing the petals of the toes back together. If that's too much, then just circle. Changing the direction of your circle when you're ready. Maybe closing the eyes, and feeling that opening beginning to happen in the hip joints. Taking one more circle. Coming back to the center, drawing the knees up, and again giving yourself that little hug. So wrapping the hands around the knees, dropping the head so the chin comes towards the chest. Breathing into the back of the heart and the spine, and the shoulder blades and the lower back. And then lifting the head and making your way into a tabletop position. So again, we're going to have the hands directly under the shoulders, spreading the fingers nice and wide so you feel that anchoring through the tips of the fingers. Knees are directly below the hips and the tops of the feet. I'm just going to move. I'm gently pressing down onto the earth. There we go. So again, just take a moment to anchor through the hands and the tops of the feet, feeling that support from Mother Earth. And we're going to move into our cat-cow movement. So as we inhale, the belly moves naturally towards the earth, gaze up towards the sky. So we're stretching the front of the spine. And then as we exhale, arching the back, gathering everything in. Gently pressing into the tops of the feet. So alternating between these two movements in your own time, with your own rhythm of breath. So coming back to the center. So we're going to add a little bit more movement into this week. So as we inhale, we're going to do the same movement, stretching the front of the spine. And this time as we exhale and we curl the back, we're going to bring the bum back towards the heels. And then as we inhale, we're going to come onto the elbows if we can, or you can hover, and you're going to scoop the heart forward. So we're making a little circle. Inhale as you scoop the heart, pressing into the hands, and exhale. Inhale, scooping forward. Exhale, rounding the back. Let's do this one more time. Inhale and exhale, coming back. Bum can rest on the heels, dropping the forehead down to the earth. You can place the hands in front of you so the hands take the weight of the forehead. And allowing yourself just to settle in child's pose. So the knees can be nice and wide. So So just allowing the body to be fully supported by the earth. Feeling the breath settle the body. And if you feel like there's anything else that you want to just hand over, that you don't want to be thinking about anymore, you can let that go on the exhale and visualize the earth opening up, taking that and closing over. So just handing whatever it is that might be on your mind over to the earth, knowing that she has got your back. And then when you're ready, gently pressing into the hands, walking the hands back towards the knees, coming up onto your toes, and rolling up into standing. So just taking your time here, having a nice bend in the knees, and rolling up. Just gonna check the time. So we're gonna alternate from rolling all the way up from the top, all the way to the bottom. So before we do that, coming back to the feet, I know I go on about the feet a lot. They're so vital in helping us feel connected and grounded. So let's push into the balls of the feet so that the toes lift up and do their little wriggling up. And then as you exhale, seeing if you can place the toes back down onto the earth. So we're going to inhale up and exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling and exhaling, dropping everything down. So just finding a comfortable position with the knees maybe just hip distance apart. And as we inhale, we're going to sweep the arms all the way up towards the sky, reaching up. And then as we exhale, it's as if you're holding the sun or a big ball. We're going to bring that ball down in front of us, all the way down, bending, 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 all the way down. And we're going to gently place that ball and push it into the earth. And as we inhale, we're going to gather up that ball, push into the feet, and come back up to standing and release the hands. So let's do that again. Reaching up on the inhale, grabbing the sun or the moon, and then exhale as the arms come forward, all the way down to the earth. Inhale. Pressing into the feet, rolling the spine up so the head is the last thing to straighten. Inhale, reaching up. And then exhale, down. Inhale as you gather that up. And exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling up. Exhaling down, keeping a nice bend in the knees. So inhale, rolling the body all the way up, and exhale 1 more time. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale. And this time as you exhale, staying down, bending the knees, taking hold of opposite elbows. And just letting the crown of the head move towards the earth, so everything is hanging down, and you can have a really lovely bend in the knees, so it feels as if the ribs are being supported by the thighs. And maybe allowing a little movement from side to side. And releasing the arms, Inhale as you push into the feet and rolling up. Lovely. So just giving everything a lovely little shake. Shaking the hands, shaking the feet. Maybe making some noises. Just giving yourself a moment to shake that all off. And then we're going to bring the arms up overhead. We're going to bend the elbows and take hold of opposite elbows with the hands. And as we inhale, we're just going to gently press into the elbows. And then exhale, just bend into the right. Inhale back to the center. Exhale to the left. So you can have a slight bend in that left knee. You don't want to lock anything here. But the inhale brings you back to the center. And the exhale takes you to the side. And again, just visualizing that tree that moves in the wind, in the storm, that is so rooted and grounded in its base and so free to move in the upper part. So doing this one more time in each direction. Inhale up and exhale. And then inhale, coming back to the center, releasing the arms and just allowing the body and the arms just to swing from side to side, like a little helicopter. So this is a really great one if you're feeling hot. Or you want to invite a little bit more playfulness and spaciousness. Really just let the arms be as floppy as they can be. I remember doing this as a kid. And letting the movement just slow down very naturally on its own. And taking a moment, placing the left hand on the chest and the right hand on the belly. Maybe making a few circles with the hips. And coming back to the breath. So noticing if the breath is maybe a little bit faster after that movement. And taking some circles in the other direction. Coming back to stillness, and again just observing the breath in the body. Does the body feel more spacious? Do you feel more in your body? Is there a bit more stillness there? Releasing the hands and slowly making your way back down to your mat for relaxation. I'm going to just quickly check the time. So finding yourself in a comfortable position, again, similar to how we were at the beginning. Taking whatever time you need, if you need to go to the bathroom and have some water. Just pause me, I'm not going anywhere. And just finding whatever kind of position is comfortable. Make sure there's plenty of softness beneath you, pillows, cushions, sheepskins, whatever it is that you need. When you've settled the bones of your body on the earth, let's close down your eyes. Welcome in 3 deep breaths. So inhaling fully through the nostrils and exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling. And just coming back to your natural breath. Feeling the gentle rise and fall of the breath in the body. So the more we practice this awareness of the breath, the easier it gets to drop it in each time. So don't worry if it's feeling a little bit challenging or difficult. Just do what you can. So after all of that movement of energy in the body, just imagining every single cell of the body, every part of the body, settling down and taking a rest. Allowing the earth to fully support you in this moment. Allowing the earth to fully support you, knowing that you are deserving of this moment of rest, and there is no need to rush or get back to anything. If you can imagine yourself being embraced in a warm and loving hug by Mother Earth herself, wrapping her arms around you. So with each round of breath, feeling the weight of the body drop down into the earth. Simply by breathing, we offer our bodies the opportunity to rest and recuperate, giving thanks for all that they do throughout the day and throughout the night and throughout our lives. Similar to what we did when we were stroking and gazing at our wonderful feet, seeing if we can bring in a feeling of gratitude for the whole of our bodies, even the bits that we find hard to love fully. So welcoming in a sense of gratitude for the whole of the front of the body, from the crown of the head to the forehead, the nose, the eyes, the cheeks, the chin, the whole of the face, the throat, the collarbones, the shoulders and arms and wrists and hands, the chest and the breasts and the ribs and the abdomen, the womb space and the hips, the thighs, the knees, the shins, the ankles and the feet. And welcoming in a sense of gratitude for the whole of the back of the body, the back of the head and the neck, the top of the spine, the shoulders, the shoulder blades, the back of the ribs, the lower back and the sacrum, the buttocks, the thighs, the backs of the knees, the calves, the heels, and the soles of the feet. So welcoming in that gratitude and unconditional love for the whole of your body. All of you is welcome here. You are wonderful just as you are. There is nothing needed in this moment other than just your awareness. Welcoming in a sense of gladness and gratitude for this wonderful being that you are, and for this wonderful vessel that you get to inhabit. How would it feel to just welcome all of you every single day? Allowing your awareness to shift now back to your breathing. Following that rhythm, that dance of the breath as it moves in and out of the body in its own unique way. Coming back to that awareness of the breath as the wind that travels through the landscape of the body. Allowing that welcoming of the season of spring and summer on the inhale. That wonderful fresh energy that brings with it new beginnings and possibilities and vitality. Visualizing that inhale traveling to every single cell and space and organ, every single part of the body, gently waking and nudging those parts of the body awake. It's as if the sun is rising on the land of your body and everything is beginning to wake up and move excited for the day ahead. So noticing any sounds that you can hear that are far away and closer by. Any smells or tastes or sensations on the skin. Becoming aware of the sound of your breath. And allowing any movements to arise that feel good, maybe gentle circling of the feet and the ankles, gentle stretching of the hands, the arms above the head. Like a little creature emerging from the winter slumber. The body is rested and the mind is awake as you transition back into an awareness of the physical body in this space. Maybe hugging the knees in towards the chest, giving the lower back a lovely little massage, giving yourself a little hug. And when you're ready, just rolling over onto one side. Taking your time. Feeling that support. In your own time, just slowly making your way back to seated. Keeping the eyes closed. And just finding a comfortable seated position. And bringing the hands in front of the heart and repeating that mantra with me that we spoke last week. So inhaling as if you could fill the heart space. Gently bowing the head towards the hands. With great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. With great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. With great respect and love, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. And rubbing the palms of the hands together, feeling that wonderful heat. And then gently cupping the eyes. Just taking one final moment. And allowing the eyes to flicker open behind the hands as you welcome in that beautiful light. Bringing the hands away from the body. Thank you for joining me today. And I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you next week.